fun of flood victims, you should throw that in there as well.
Hurricane Helene.
Okay, we're just gonna.
You said it so sassy. There was definitely. I was like, motherfucker flicked his wrist when he said, he had some sass with it. Little whip. Okay. Whipping the nay a bit. Hurricane.
I'm a search and rescue officer for the Okay. Are we getting into this?
No. Yes, we are. The story, yes, we are.
Okay, all right. I'm a search and rescue officer for the U.S. Forest Service. I have some stories to tell. Part 1. I wasn't sure where else to post these stories, so I figured I'd share them here. I've been a search and rescue officer for a few years now, and along the way, I've seen some things that I think you guys will be interested in. I have a pretty good track record for finding missing people. Most of the time, they just wander off the path or slip down a small cliff, and they can't find their way back. The majority of them have heard the old "stay where you are" thing, and they don't wander far. But I've had 2 cases where that didn't happen. Both bother me a lot. I use them as motivation to search even harder on the missing persons cases I get called on. The first was a little boy who was out berry picking with his parents. He and his sister were together, and both of them went missing around the same time. Their parents lost sight of them for a few seconds, and in that time, both the kids apparently wandered off. When their parents couldn't find them, they called us, and we came out to search the area. We found the daughter pretty quickly, and when we asked where her brother was, she told us that he'd been taken away by a bear man. She said he gave her berries and told her to stay quiet, and that he wanted to play with her brother for a while.
Oh, God.
The last...
Oh, God. I forgot about this. Oh, Jesus
Forgot
Christ.
about the bear man?
Ooh. Oh, my God. Is that subconsciously was the bear trap thing because our traumatized nature from the bear man?
The game was rigged from the start. The last she saw of her brother, he was riding on the shoulders of the bear man and seemed calm. Of course, our first thought was abduction, but we never found a trace of another human being in that area. The little girl was also insistent that he wasn't a normal man, that he was tall and covered in hair, like a bear, and that he had a weird face. We searched that area for weeks. It was one of the longest calls I've ever been on, but we never found a single trace of that kid. The other was a young woman who was out hiking with her mom and grandpa. According to the mother, her daughter had climbed up a tree to get a better view of the forest, and she never come back down. They waited at the base of the tree for hours, calling her name.
Get on this
before they called for
job.
help. Again, we searched everywhere, and we never found a trace of her. I have no idea where she could possibly have gone, because neither her mother or grandpa saw her come down. I love how each of these little segments feel like their own campfire story, you know?
Yeah, but I don't know, like it sucks you in to the point where the idea of it is very creepy, but I'm also just like, huh? Like if a guy was telling me about this, he's like, yeah, I don't know, like a guy got abducted by a circus freak or something like that. We never saw him, and a girl climbed up a tree and she never came back down. Those are kind of weird. I'd be like, huh, hold up, what? I was like, you don't have any more information on that?
One a little bit.
I was like, what do you mean? Also, how do the parents, how do they come to terms with that? Where they just like, all right, well, she's not coming down, let's go. But the concepts are really cool though, you know?
Yeah.
Like I mean like the girl climbing up the tree, which you just have to assume is like a never-ending thing, or like even like she went too high up and now it's like, I don't know, entered a different dimension or something.
Or something grabbed her up there or something like that.
Something like that is fucking haunting. But then also just the which, you know, the creepypasta thing, it's hard not to just imagine a fucking hairy pedophile in the woods that just abducted a boy. But it could also just be literally like a Sasquatch kind of monster, or like even just some kind of creature like living in the woods just took the kid, you know, you are my own now or something. I don't know. Both of them are very fun, and you're like, but what happened? Hey, what happened? But you're right, it gives that campfire feel where it's like, you know, well, what happened next? And then your dad, who's like definitely not creative, will say like, no one knows. Like that kind of thing. You're like, whoa, yeah, don't ask questions.
Well, it's also from the perspective of a search and rescue officer who just, like, they don't know anything about the lead up, they just know the cases. They just know what a little girl said, or they just saw someone walk up into a tree. So it's like there's so the person narrating's on limited information, so your mind kind of makes inferences off of what little we get.
Yeah.
A few times I've been out on my own searching with a canine. They've tried to lead me straight up cliffs, not hills, not even rock faces. Straight, sheer cliffs with no possible handholds. It's always baffling, and in those cases, we usually find the person on the other side of the cliff, or miles away from where the canine has led us. I'm sure there's an explanation, but it's sort of strange. One particularly sad case involved the recovery of a body. A 9-year-old girl fell down an embankment and got impaled on a dead tree at the base. It was a complete freak accident, but I'll never forget the sound her mother made when we told her what had happened. She saw the body bag being loaded into the ambulance, and she let out the most haunting, heartbroken wail I ever heard. It was like her whole life was crashing down around her, and a part of her had died with her daughter. I heard from another search and rescue officer that she killed herself a few weeks after it happened. She couldn't live with the loss of her daughter. I also like details like that are like tragic, but not explicitly supernatural.
Yeah,
So,
well, it can be just
like
how
set dressing.
Even just accidents happen on nature and how fucking haunting that can be, which is true.
Yeah.
But I do think it's important for the story so far because it definitely leans into where like there's probably going to be some things that are just of nature, like things just happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Not all of it has to be supernatural.
Yeah.
I was teamed up with another search and rescue officer because we'd received reports of bears in the area. We were looking for a guy who hadn't come home from a climbing trip when he was supposed to, and we ended up having to do some serious climbing to get to where we'd figured he'd be. We found him trapped in a small crevice with a broken leg. It was not pleasant. He'd been there for almost 2 days, and his leg was very obviously infected. We were able to get him into a chopper, and I heard from one of the EMTs that the guy was absolutely inconsolable. He kept talking about how he'd been doing fine, and when he got to the top, a man had been there. He said the guy had no climbing equipment, and he was wearing a parka and ski pants. He walked up to the guy, and when the guy turned around, he said he had no face. It was just blank. He freaked out and ended up trying to get off the mountain too fast, which is why he'd fallen. He said he could hear the guy all night, climbing down the mountain and letting out these horrible, muffled screams. That story bothered the hell out of me, but I wasn't there to hear it.
I want to say I love that being the next story after the girl falling because you are like, oh man, it probably was an accident, but now it sets a little layer of doubt in your head.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's
that.
like, well, maybe there's something up that maybe there's faceless people up on the mountain, whatever that is.
Also, a fun
Maybe
thing
that
too,
contributed.
an out of season, basically skier that's up on the
Yeah.
mountain, where it's like, okay, well, this guy has definitely just been up here or got like lost. Like, who knows what happened to even that guy? You know, transformed.
Yeah.
Who knows how long ago?
It's like a ghost almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. One of the scariest things I've ever had happen to me involved the search for a young woman who'd gotten separated from her hiking group. We were out until late at night because the dogs had picked up her scent. When we found her, she was curled up under a large rotted log. She was missing her shoes and pack, and she was clearly in shock. She didn't have any injuries. We were able to get her to walk with us back to base ops. Along the way, she kept looking behind us and asking us why that big man with black eyes was following us. Couldn't see anyone, so we just wrote it off as some weird symptom of shock. But the closer we got to base, the more agitated this woman got. She kept asking me to tell him to stop making faces at her. At one point, she stopped and turned around and started yelling into the forest, saying that she wanted him to leave her alone. She wasn't going with him, she said, and she wouldn't give us to him. We finally got her to keep moving, but we started hearing these weird noises coming from all around us. It was almost like coughing, but more rhythmic and deeper. It was almost insect-like. Don't really know how else to describe it. When we were within sight of base ops, the woman turns to me, and her eyes are about
This
as
ain't gonna
wide
be
as
a
I
bad
can
trip.
imagine a human
Pretty
could
quick
open
since
up.
I want to speed on
She
it.
touches my shoulder and says,
He says to tell you to speak. He doesn't like looking at the scar on your neck.
I have a very small scar on the base of my neck, but it's mostly hidden under my collar, and I have no idea how this woman saw it. Right after she says it, I heard that weird coughing
We're gonna try to go fast and
I
get there as quick as
hustled
possible.
through the office, trying not to show how freaked out I was. But I have to say, I was really happy when we left the area that night.
And in one piece.
Yeah. the bug man, the insect man, is following us through the woods, and then calls out in the ear, "This is the last one I'll tell. It's probably the weirdest story I have." Now, I don't know if this is true in every search and rescue unit, but in mine, it's sort of an unspoken, regular thing we run into. You can try asking about it with other search and rescue officers, but even if they know what you're talking about, they probably won't say anything about it. Here we go. This is it, the Hall of Famer, the big hitter. We've been told not to talk about it by our superiors, and at this point, we've all gotten so used to it that it doesn't even seem weird anymore. But just about every case where we're really far into the wilderness, talking 30 or 40 miles, at some point, we'll find a staircase in the middle of the woods. It's almost like if you took the stairs in your house, cut them out, and put them in the forest. I asked about it the first time I saw some, and the other officer just told me not to worry about it, that it was normal. Everyone I asked said the same thing. I wanted to go check them out, but I was told very emphatically that I should never go anywhere near them. I just sort of ignore them now when I run into them because it happens so frequently. I have a lot more stories, and I suppose if anyone's interested, I'll tell some of them tomorrow. If anyone has any theories about the stairs, or if you've seen them too, let me know.
So, end of part one, which worth to mention as well. One, this is 10 years old, 2015, which would you say that was the pinnacle? Because what creepypasta started getting written like around like 2010, maybe 2011, whatever. But it really
2012,
was like
I would say, around the time of like, it was after Slender Man. Slender Man was, I think, the kickoff in my mind, and then kind of creepypasta culture spiraled.
so
from there.
2015 is probably 12. So
2015 was when people were like, oh, we can ride on these and try.
Yeah.
They don't have to be scary faces.
Yeah, I think it's interesting just seeing a post like this because this seems like such a. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there, but in my mind, it seems like such a new take of like little digestible moments, right? 'Cause
Fucking
it almost
send it,
feels like
fellas.
it feels like the book when we were younger, the scary stories to tell in the dark. Very
It's like,
bite-sized,
gonna get there
small
quick.
things where it's very much just like I heard about this.
Trying to make that
kind of like what you were saying, like a it's just a ghost story, a campfire story, and it's very.
Make that
It's just
money.
giving you the scary moment, but you know, none of the character stuff with it, but it's just the thing of like, I heard about this thing happening, and it was really scary, and then like another scary moment, and then we move on to the next one. I love these kind of like little digestible
something kind of weird. Like I've talked about on the show, I think, when I was a kid, I went to a park and saw a door in the middle of the woods with like an old brass handle, and it was just the door standing up, like it's a piece of the frame, and it kind of leaned on a tree. From a distance, looked like a floating door. So it's like that's a bit more weird, you know? Why did that get out there? What's the story with that? So I feel like a staircase in the woods hits that right spot of it's clearly weird and wrong, but it's just familiar enough that I
thing? Because it seems like he's like.
So the idea of missing 411 typically is there's so little information, or like it's an unexplainable case. It could be true crime, it could be supernatural, and a lot of, especially David's stuff, kind of plays in the middle. Like, oh, that's what it could be. Like the Dennis Martin case that I did a video on was a little boy who was at a camping trip with his dad, his parents up in the Smoky Mountains, and he walked behind a bush to jump out and scare his dad, and his dad walked over to the bush circumstances they go missing under. It's never easy. And we always regret the ones we find deceased. It's not common, but it does happen. David Politis talks a lot about kids search and rescue teams found in places they shouldn't be or couldn't be. I can honestly say I've heard about this kind of thing happening more than I've seen it, but I'll share one of the ones that I think about a lot that I witnessed personally. A mother and her 3 kids were out for a picnic in an area of the park that has a small lake. The lake is 5, and there's about 3. She's watching them all really closely, and according to her, she never lets them out of her sight at any time. She never saw anyone else in that area either, which is important. She
This
packs their stuff
motherfucker.
up, and they start to head back to the parking area. Now, this lake is only about 2 miles into the woods, and it's on a very clearly established trail. It's almost impossible to get lost getting from the parking area to it, unless you're deliberately going off the path like an imbecile. Her kids are walking in front of her when she hears what sounds like someone coming up the path behind her. She turns around, and in the 4 or so seconds she's not looking, her 5-year-old son vanishes. She figures he stepped off the trail to pee or something, and she asked her other 2 where he went. They both tell her that a big man with a scary face came out of the woods next to them, took the kid's hand, and led him into the trees. The 2 remaining kids don't seem upset. In fact, she says later that it seems like they've been drugged. They're sort of spacey and fuzzy. So of course, she freaks out, starts looking frantically in the area for her kid. She's screaming his name, and she says at one point she thinks she heard him answer her. Now obviously, she can't go blindly running into the woods, she's got the other 2 kids, so she calls the police and they send us out immediately. We respond and we start the search for him. Over the course of this search, which spans miles, we never find a single missing kid. Canines can't pick up any scent. We don't find any clothing or broken bushes or literally anything that would signify a child being there. Of course, there's suspicion about the mother for a while, but it's pretty clear that she's completely destroyed by the whole thing. We looked for this kid for weeks, with a lot of volunteer help. But eventually, the search peters out, and we have to move on. The volunteers keep searching. One day, we get a call on the radio letting us know that a body's been found and needs to be recovered. They tell us the location, and none of us can believe it. We figure it has to be a different kid. We go out there, about 15 miles from the site where he vanished, and sure enough, we find the body of the kid we've been looking for. I've been trying to figure out how this kid got where he did ever since we found him, and I've never come up with an answer. The volunteer just happened to be in the area because he figured he might as well look in places no one else would think to, on the off chance the body had been dumped. He comes to the base of a tall, rocky slope halfway up and sees something. Looks through his binoculars, and sure enough, it's the body of a little boy, stuffed in a little opening in the rock. He recognizes the color of the kid's shirt, so he knows right away that it's the missing boy. That's when he calls it in, and we're dispatched. It took us almost an hour to get his body down, and none of us could believe what we were seeing. Not only was the kid 15 miles from where he'd started, there was no possible way he could have gotten up there on his own. This slope is treacherous, and it's hard even for us with our climbing gear. 5-year-old boy had no way of getting up there. Of that I'm certain. Not only that, but the kid doesn't have a scratch on him. His shoes are gone, but his feet aren't damaged or dirty. So it wasn't as if an animal dragged him up there. From what we can tell, he hasn't been dead that long. He'd been out there over a month by that point, and it looked like he'd only been dead for, at most, a day or 2. The whole thing was unbelievably strange. It was one of the most disconcerting calls I've ever been on. We found out later that the coroner determined the kid had died from exposure. He'd frozen to death, probably late at night, 2 days before we found him. There were no suspects and no answers. To date, it's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
Jesus. So he was stuffed inside. Do you think he was just trapped? He couldn't get out of the...
No, because they mentioned that it's a place of a rock face where a kid couldn't have gone. So it's like the fuzzy man, the man with the scary face or whatever. Or not the fuzzy man. The fuzzy man shows up later. The man with the scary face, like, leads him by the hand, and then maybe the kid dies in the woods, so he just shoves his body into a rock crevice. Like halfway up a mountainside. with him, and then he was just up in that tree, and he couldn't give any more explanation. But he had gotten, I think, 12 miles over the course of a day or so. And there was an episode of Survivor Man where he tried to recreate the path in the same time frame, and he couldn't do it.
Well, that's what I
over
was gonna say.
mountains. It's like how did a 4-year-old?
I feel like people might be like 15 miles isn't that far, 12 miles isn't that far.
Yeah, try it through a sheer rock face straight. Yeah,
exactly. It's not like it's a straight path. It's up major. I mean, like you'd have to walk. It would be insane.
Yeah, 4-year-old no. So the only theory people make is like maybe a cougar carried him all the way and left him on top of a tree for some reason.
Just stay here, you'll be fine.
Yeah. So weird stuff happens out there. I've heard, dude. So I was camping not long ago, and we were out in the middle of the woods, and I wasn't tent camping. I was just on a bivvy in a tarp. And I was curled up in my sleeping bag. This is around, I think, 3 in the morning, middle of nowhere, underneath the trees, super dark. And I'm going to sleep, and right before I fell asleep, I heard so distinctly a car unlocking. Like someone hit a key fob, a little click click,
Yeah.
And dude, I shot up and was spinning around 20 miles from any roadway, right?
Yeah.
And bro, it messed with me.
Can you
I was like,
imagine,
what would make that noise?
Can you imagine a mountain lion stealing your whip?
Just runs me over with my 400, drives it all the way out
You're
to
like,
the woods.
who is that? Whatever. And then they has his head out the window. I think he does a fucking donut and he flips you off with his paw and he drives off.
I'd honestly be like, that's pretty sick.
That's a cool cat.
That's a cool mountain lion. That's the coolest thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Mountain lion steals my car.
That was the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. Exactly. You die frozen out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. You know what? Almost worth it. Almost worth it. I want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Turtle Beach. Things don't always age well. My chicken that died, but some things like Turtle Beach age great. When I was 12 years old, playing on an Xbox 360, Turtle Beach was the brand again, and I'm happy to tell you that in 2025, they're still the brand that continues to deliver high-quality sound and comfortable functionality. And since they sent me a pair of their Stealth 700s, I haven't taken them off. These are, without exaggeration, the best headphones I've ever owned. For one, I always had wired headphones because I didn't like dealing with battery life, but the Stealth 700s have 80 hours of runtime per charge. And honestly, I think it may be a bit longer than that. I use them all day while I'm watching videos or recording or doing podcasts, and then at night I use them to play video games with friends. And not only are they higher quality headphones than I've been using, but I forget these things aren't wired because I don't have to charge them for so long. As a matter of fact, since I've moved to this location, I have only charged them one time. And as someone who has to wear headphones for work and games with friends, having something that's so comfortable and the battery lasts so long that I forget it's wireless and I forget I have them on means a lot. They're also the industry's first ever cross-play dual wireless system. Meaning instead of putting up with the hassle of Bluetooth or other wireless connections, you just get this little USB port that you plug into the computer and the wireless headset connects directly to that. And what's cool is you can have 2 of them, so one can go to your computer, the other to your laptop or Xbox, and all you have to do is press a button to switch between one or the other. And on top of it, it also has Bluetooth if you want to just connect it to your phone. I can't recommend Turtle Beach enough, and if you want to get in on their stuff like the Stealth 700, then now's the perfect time. That's because if you head to the link in the description at turtlebeach.com and use the discount code CreepCast, you will be able to get 10% off your entire order. That is right, 10% off. It can be the Stealth 700s or anything else you want from them. Again, just head to turtlebeach.com and use the code CreepCast, and then after you order, they'll ask who sent you. So if you could say us, it would really mean a lot. So get in on it while you can. Thank you to Turtle Beach for sponsoring the show. Their link will be in the description. We are now back to the episode. One of my first jobs as a trainee was a search op for a 4-year-old kid that had gotten separated from his mom. This was one of those cases where we knew we were going to find him because the dogs were on a strong scent trail and we saw clear signs that he was in the area. We ended up finding him in a berry patch about half a mile from where he'd last been seen. The kid wasn't even aware that he wandered that far. One of the vets brought him back, which I was glad for because I'm really not good with kids. And I find it hard to talk to them and keep them company. it's made of. It's almost like a video game glitch. The house has failed to load completely and the stairs are the only thing visible. I stand there. It's like my brain is working overtime to try to make sense of what I'm seeing. My trainer comes and stands next to me, and she just stands there casually, looking at it as if it's the least interesting thing in the world. I ask her what the thing is doing here, and she just chuckles.
Get used to it, rookie. You're gonna see a lot of them.
I start to move closer, but she grabs my arm hard.
I wouldn't do that.
Her voice is casual, but her grip is tight, and I just stand there looking at her.
You're gonna see them all the time, but don't go near them. Don't touch them. Don't go up to them. Just ignore them.
I start to ask her about it, but something in the way she's looking at me tells me that it's best if I don't. We end up moving on, and the subject doesn't come up again for the rest of my training. She was right, though. I'd say about every 5th call I go on, I end up running across a set of stairs. Sometimes they're relatively close to the path, maybe within 2 or 3 miles. Sometimes they're 20, 30 miles out, literally in the middle of nowhere. And I only find them during the broadcast searches or training weekends. They're usually in good condition, but sometimes it looks like they've been out there for miles. All different kinds, all different sizes. The biggest I ever saw looked like they came out of a turn-of-the-century mansion and were at least 10 feet wide with steps leading up at least 15 or 20 feet. I've tried talking about it with people, but they just give me the same response my trainer did.
It's normal. Don't worry about it. They're not a big deal, but don't go close to them or up to them.
When trainees ask me about it now, I give them the same response. I don't really know what else to tell them. I'm really hoping someday I get a better answer, but it hasn't happened yet.
I feel like by not telling you what would happen if you go up it, it would make me go up it.
Yeah, well, you'd go up and immediately get, like, particle eviscerated.
Or just so, because also it seems like, I'm guessing, if I had to guess, it seems like each staircase leads to a different area or something, or it attracts something different. You know what I mean? Like, I doubt all the staircases lead to the same place.
To me, the staircase, which the story never gives you a clear answer,
Right.
but to me, the staircase almost feels like a lure. You know?
Yeah, it's like a, it's just like a little hook dangling there to be like, oh, come on, just walk on me.
Yeah, because it's like there's some entity that wants people to cross over to join it or whatever, and you need to go up. So it's almost like humans go up on these.
Let me ask you this.
This is what the image will be placed out in the woods.
Let me ask you this. If you were a paranormal entity in the woods, what would be your lure?
Am I, like, what would get me personally, or if I was the entity, what would I try to get people with?
Yeah, the latter.
20 mile
Mine? Yeah, they say mine.
Go ahead.
Hot dog stand.
Okay, I was gonna say women, but I guess that only gets half the population. If it has to be one blanket,
What do you mean that only gets half the population? You could still, you could be a woman out in the middle of the woods and anybody's gonna be like, oh, are you okay? I'm over here. No, I'm talking about, it needs to be like a random object. Like, can you imagine you're walking through the deep woods.
when I said
there's
women, by the way,
there's a fucking
when I say
glizzy
women,
stand.
by the way, I mean explicitly like a goth baddie type.
Oh,
I'm
buddy,
saying
I
specific
know,
kind of lore.
I know what you mean. I know what's
All
going
right,
on.
yeah, I'm not just saying like the voice of a woman. I'm talking like
Yeah,
I'm talking
big,
like the
big
moments.
milky boobies.
Well, okay, all right, I did
thick
say that.
thighs,
I'm
fish
talking
guts.
like
I get it.
when the coyote's like, oh, humming is like the eyes popping out there. That's what I was
hitting the
referring to.
hitting the table.
Oh,
that kind of thing.
hop, 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 hop. Yeah, that whole thing. Yeah. So if it had to be an item, you said hot dog stand, right?
Yeah.
I think a hot dog stand's pretty good. That would get me in the middle of the woods.
I mean, can you imagine that you're walking through the woods and all of a sudden you're like, glizzy stand? And also it has all the fixins, right, on it. It has all this stuff of like, has relish, has ketchup, mustard, everything you could want, right? And it smells delightful. That's how I would do it.
Yeah. Well, if I'm a smart entity that knows that would look out of place and suspicious, I would do one of those like the little boxes they set up on trails where you can like emergency supplies with like food and stuff like that, like beef jerky.
See, if I were you, know what's kind of interesting? Like, it's not necessarily as uncanny as stairs in the woods. But what if you were? What if I evolved yours a little bit? What if it was one of those boxes in neighborhoods, in hipster neighborhoods, where people leave books?
Yeah.
one of those.
Like
You're
a book,
what?
like a book trade thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those. What
Yeah.
is this? That kind of thing. You're the book
Okay, but-
bandit. You're the book
Okay.
bandit.
Let's phrase it a bit differently, because it seems that the point of the stairs is you have to walk through them, like you have to go through the portal. So what would you set up to make people walk through an area?
I would have. Okay, so you have to, because in my mind, if you take a book,
They have to cross a threshold.
so you're saying this has to be an actual threshold you have to cross. Mine would be a slip and slide.
Whoa!
An enticing slip and slide, and let me tell you, it has all the water features and everything too. Can you imagine trying to not be like, oh, dude, no one's out here? I could just go on this really quick.
I'm not gonna ask where the water's coming from or why it's in pristine condition.
I would say it's impossible. If no one else is around, you're like, I'm not gonna look stupid. It's impossible. You like a fully operational slip and slide, a tightrope between two trees, like like one of those things you're trying to balance on. Whoa! It even has the mat underneath it. Yeah, I think those are two good. I think I've given two.
You know what's weird? Thinking about this now, like, what would you have to make people walk through? A random staircase is probably the best lure, because I feel like I have a natural inclination to walk up it.
What if it was a tightrope where you couldn't see the other end of the, like you couldn't see what it was tied to?
I think I absolutely would not get on that. I think if I was walking through the woods and came across that, I'm not touching it. No way.
What about the slip and slide? What about the slip and slide where you didn't see the end of it?
No, I'm not getting on a slip and slide in the middle of the woods. I can't see the end of it.
Right.
I'm do you want to hike the rest of the way soaking wet?
The water fountains that are going on it.
Do you want to hike the rest of the way back soaked?
I don't think I really mind. I think I'm probably
Have you ever
dirty on the
hiked
way
with wet socks? Do you know how much that sucks?
Obviously, you don't fucking wear your socks and shoes. You take it off. You go on. You're like wee on your knees, and you get back. You put on your dry socks and you put on your shoes. That's what any normal person would do.
I feel like the stairs are the easiest because people just like will walk up a staircase.
I am not trying to dethrone the stairs. You asked me what the portal would be.
Okay, you asked.
And you have
I
not
did
said
ask the
one.
threshold, but you're the one that originally asked. I said a woman, and then I said a supply
big-titted,
box.
thick-thighed woman with
No,
fishnets.
you are adding adjectives I did not put on this young lady,
I'm
this
deciphering.
young woman.
Okay, we emphasize that we don't need to emphasize the age. But you were like, but hey, listen, it's not just a voice, fellas. You did say that.
Yeah, but because
Hey,
you said
boys.
no. That's because I said that only attracts half, and you're like, no, it doesn't. If a woman's calling out in the woods, and I clarified, I'm not talking about a woman calling out in the woods. I'm talking about you make eye contact and you do the whole coyote like oh no, and you like run for a second like Scooby-Doo in place, and then take off like pew, and there's a little cloud of smoke. That's what I'm talking about, not like a help me, help. Because if I'm in the woods and I just hear that, I am not.
What do you mean you're not gonna help?
Okay, all right. Realistically,
Yeah.
I am gonna help. But we're not talking about a realistic scenario. We're talking about a